Hello there, my friends. So this video I made in February of 2020, just right before the March shutdown of the entire country. I had bought, at the end of 2019, I had bought an Amtrak ticket to go across country to see David Byrne's American Utopia on Broadway in New York City, and it was amazing. But I traveled by myself, and this is a video that I made of that journey and just kind of like a review, I guess, of Amtrak a little bit as well. But yeah, I thought I'd share it with you because it was for another channel, so I don't actually discuss having Parkinson's in it. But I was 6 years after my diagnosis when I made this journey. Yeah, so I was able to do it then. I don't think I'd be able to do a cross-country journey now. If I had to, I could. But what I could still do is like a short jaunt, like from Emeryville to Reno, let's say. It was a wonderful journey, and so here it is. There were horses. I love Amtrak. It's a completely different way to see America. It's like a behind the scenes look at our country. I met the loveliest women. So I met them at lunchtime and then came back, took a nap, woke up, and I knew that they were getting off in Reno, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go find them in Coach to see if I could talk with them for my video. And so I went into Coach, which was the first time that I was in Coach, and definitely different from the scene here. So I'm in my little roomette, and like I said, it's extremely quiet. Coach wasn't packed with people, but there were people, and it's as you'd expect. You know, there's some people here and there, some sleeping, some talking, some not, you know, so it's a little bit more hustly and bustly, I'd say, even though it wasn't full in the Coach cars. We just had this amazing conversation, so I'm going to share it with you right now. Found out that answer.
Yes.
Okay, so did you too?
Yes,
it's the prime meridian, and the equator, we had part of it right.
Right.
So negative is south of the equator.
Why don't are you recording this?
Yes.
This part. Good.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So yeah, the negative part is south of the equator, so it's a hemisphere thing, and then the negative latitude's west of the prime meridian.
Yes.
Yes, so you do this every year. You do this
Almost every year.
You too. Are you a Bay Area person? Napa, okay. And is this the first time you guys have met?
This is the first time we've met.
Really?
Even though she goes just about every year.
Harris as well?
No, I'm staying at the Eldorado because they sent me an offer.
Hey.
Two free nights.
Hey. Yeah.
The Eldorado? 2 free nights. And I'm not a big gambler. I just go to see the snow and wander around. So I play the house odds.
Yeah.
Because I play roulette.
Mm-hmm.
And the house always wins. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how they win in roulette?
How?
Because
The 00?
the 0 and 00.
Yes.
The green.
Yeah.
So I can sit there for hours and just play the green, and eventually I will win. I think you were talking about, weren't you talking about a union that you,
The UAW?
yeah, a UAW.
Well, I was born in Detroit. Everybody in the family was connected with the auto industry.
Okay, I come from a union family. I've got one uncle left in the Carpenters Union right outside of Chicago. They do insulation. He's been doing it his whole life. So where, you from Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
Where about, like
Detroit.
Detroit?
In the city.
Which car manufacturer?
Well, my father worked for the Chrysler Corporation in the Detroit forge plant. He was a welder.
Yeah. Do you still have family in Michigan?
Cousins and
Cousins?
cousins and nieces and grandnieces and nephews.
Still pro-union, or have they kind of turned against the union?
Well, the grands.
They've turned against it.
Yeah.
See, it's like when you look at the graphs at just income, how wage growth has completely declined, and when adjusted for inflation, it's declined. When it's not adjusted for inflation, right, it looks stagnant.
Right.
But and then you look at it in parallel with union decline. It's right there.
It is.
It's right there.
Exactly right there. Well, we just need the right government.
Yeah, and you know what I always say is I don't believe it's the government, it's the people, and it's the people that are influencing the people. I really believe we've got to get money out of politics.
We have to make a 180-degree shift here.
Yeah.
What we have now is not a democracy, it's an oligarchy.
Of course it is, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was Sue, Edie, and Karen. And aren't they wonderful? I just want to say thank you to you lovely ladies for making my journey so far unforgettable. Thank you. And what's interesting too is when you do get to meet some of the amazing people that I've been fortunate enough to meet. This morning for breakfast, I was talking to a couple, they were from South Africa. And what she said, what was so striking to her, was that she said the homeless population that they have issues with in her country is that they're all foreigners, that they're not, you know, they're not from South Africa. So she said Zimbabwe and other places, but she was just stunned that it's U.S. citizens, our own citizens, that are the ones that are homeless. So it's interesting to get an outside perspective as well.
I don't know, relax.
Relax.
Yeah. No, you know, some of them, it takes a while. You know, it ain't like an airplane. Sometimes they get on there and they think it's going to be faster than what it is.
So people do get impatient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So relax and just be patient.
Yeah.
Think of anything yet?
I don't.
Keep thinking.
I don't.
He was like, his. What was that?
I'm super camera shy.
Are you?
I am.
I don't blame you.
Did you say he was like what?
He said to be patient and relax. It's not like it's an airplane.
It's all so true.
Yeah.
I agree. On top of that, friends don't let friends fly.
So this is on the lower level, but this is what the roomette looks like on its own before someone like me gets to destroy it. It's not too bad. I find myself pretty cozy in it.
February, they're not going back north.
Gentlemen, Brad, the conductor. Between Grand Junction in Denver, we're going to go through 43 different tunnels. This is the highest concentration of tunnels on any part of the Amtrak system, and those tunnels are absolutely vital to getting us through this very mountainous region of the Rocky Mountains. And the very first of those tunnels is coming up right now. Many of our tunnels have names. This one does too. This tunnel is called, appropriately, Tunnel.
So what would I do differently? I would bring my slippers along. I was gonna bring them, but I like to pack really light, so I think anyways. And I was like, no, I don't need my slippers, I'll be fine. I've got warm socks. But for like getting up in the middle of the night and going to the bathroom, I would have loved to have had just something really easy to slip on. But instead, I've got my fantastic Blundstones from Australia. It's the only pair of shoes I'm bringing for this entire trip. So, I mean, it's not a terrible pain in the butt to put those on, but slippers would have been nice for my walk to the bathroom. I had already had 2 Bloody Marys and was, a little bit feeling good. And I could not handle sitting with my back going the other direction. It was just way too disorienting. So when you are going into the dining car, if you are and you're planning on sitting down, and if you have a preference, you might want to mention it when they tell you where to sit. Oh, I'm so tired and I am about to lose it. So tired, oh my God. Oh. But I'm here. So I made it to Chicago, from Emeryville to Chicago on the Zephyr line. And this is my words of wisdom from my own experience based on that trip. And some of the staff to confirm this. So you have to be patient. If you are all the bit like antsy and you want to be somewhere totally on time, or if you need to be somewhere on time, Amtrak might not be the way to go if you are needing to be somewhere like on time. So for example, I'm in Chicago here for 2 days, and I'm taking the train tomorrow from Chicago to New York. And I'm gonna go see David Byrne, American Utopia on Broadway, but I arrive on Amtrak on Sunday. The ticket for the show is not until Tuesday. So I gave myself plenty of room in case something like really devastating happens. I mean, it's winter time, it's February in the East Coast. Anyone who's familiar with this area knows that like a blizzard could come in and out of nowhere. So anyways, I gave myself some big cushion there. The second thing that I would recommend is just be prepared to be sitting a lot. I am somebody who loves to be on their feet. I bartend, I've been in the restaurant industry my whole life, and I'm not used to sitting for prolonged periods of time. My butt hurt so bad. And walking around on the train is definitely something you can do. It's a long train. You can walk, all the way from one end to the other, but it's really awkward. My quads still hurt. And I'm a physically active person. I've got a dog. I go hiking with her. We run. So it's like a lot of sitting, and I was surprised by how much sitting. I don't know why, because it's 51 hours was supposed to be the trip, and it took almost 60. My third bit of advice. So my sleeper car, I was really impressed. It is tiny. There's a bunk above if you want to have somebody come along with you, but I was just traveling by myself. And I was very comfortable. The bed, while small, I was very comfortable in. Sleeping in it, though, for me, was the first night I took half of something to help me sleep, and it really didn't do the trick. The second night I took a whole pill to help me sleep, and that really did help me sleep. But yet I would still wake up. There would be these transitions where the train would, like, I don't know if it was like going onto another track or what, because, you know, you're asleep, but it would make these extra large sounds or extra loud sounds. And it almost felt like physically as if you were kind of being thrown or like moved, you know, off the bed. It's something that you really have to get used to sensation wise. So, you know, I didn't sleep that good. Other people that I talked to, it was just kind of all over the place. You know, they either did or they didn't. So that was my my experience. So if you're a light sleeper like me, it wasn't necessarily the sound so much. It was just the sensation, especially during those bigger transitions on the tracks. So my fourth bit of advice or my fourth little bit of wisdom is that, you know, if you want to be social, you absolutely can be. Most of the people that I met in the dining car, and I had like such wonderful experiences in that dining car. I met these incredible women. And then, like, even more mind-blowing, I ended up meeting this couple who had eaten at my restaurant that I had owned years ago. The woman remembered my special. I had made a beef stroganoff. The guy had remembered my Chicago dog. It was insane. It was just like, what a small world. And if I was just hunkered in my little room, I wouldn't have had that experience or that moment. So I had an amazing time in the dining car, meeting people. But then when I wanted to be alone, it was no problem. You just go back to the room, your little roomette, close the curtain, shut the door, bam. It's like your own little world. Beautiful views. The views were just incredible. So you know, you can mix up some social time, and you know, be by yourself as well. So you can, you know, depending on what you're looking for, you can experience both. So prepare or plan for your showering situation. I did not shower on the train. I feel very comfortable not showering for 2 days. I had all kinds of like different like little cleaning wipes and stuff like that. So I just did not want to shower on the train. Although I did hear somebody showering and the water pressure sounded decent, at least from the outside. I was impressed. I don't know how hot the water gets, but you might want to think about that if you're going on a longer journey. Do I want to shower or not? And then whatever you decide, make sure that you plan and prepare for that. Another thing that really, really surprised me was just how exhausted I was when I got off the train last night. I mean, I was beat. I'm at my hotel right now. I'm staying at the Palmer House. I crashed so hard. I took a shower first, and then I crashed and slept like I haven't slept in years. I was beat. But something else that really surprised me was I like when I got here to my hotel and I got in my room, I started to feel a little bit dizzy. And it took me a second, but I honestly think that I got used to the motion of the train, kind of like a motion sickness of some sort, like if you're on a sailboat and then all of a sudden, you know, you go and you're still somewhere, your body's like, ooh, you know. I did not expect that at all. The dizziness has gone away, but last night it was very clear. And when I made the reservation, I swear I saw it said that there was Wi-Fi available on these trains. I understood it meant that some areas you wouldn't have any, which would make sense, kind of like with cell phones, you don't have any service. But there was absolutely no Wi-Fi on the Zephyr train that I took, just in case you're somebody who needs Wi-Fi at all times. That wasn't an option on my train. So overall, I absolutely loved my Amtrak experience. I loved the people, I loved the scenery. I mean, it is really like the back route. It's like some, I don't know, secret trail, you know, throughout the country that you just don't ever see. You don't get that perspective. And you know, I was really cozy in my little sleeper coach. Everyone also that I bumped into or met who were in coach, say that coach is good for, you know, shorter distances. Yes, you can do it overnight, but for some, like a journey like mine, which was 2 days, if you can, try to get a sleeper because it really does make a difference. If I didn't get off that train last night, I think I probably would have lost my shit. I kept my cool the whole time, but I think 2 days would be my maximum. And like I said, I was beat when I got off that train last night. So it's while it's relaxing, there's another element to it where, you know, you're using your body in different ways to, you know, walk through the cars. And so it takes a little bit something extra out of you than like a road trip in a car would, let's say. Please hit subscribe. And if you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share with viewers from your own experience, please do so in the comments below. And thank you.